right, we are back. We are ready to get into this next game, and it's a 2-1 right now. All eyes over on this side of Fusion. They managed to take one back. Final five, still thinking, still hungry, looking for that one more, but if they can get it, they can make themselves one step closer to making it into the LCS.
Yeah, everybody else is hungry too. Everybody's getting pizza over here.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Smell it from here. Bah.
Had to go later.
That's like everybody's like walking around in the background with that.
Nice little intermission for it.
Yeah, but man, game 4 coming out. So Final 5 against all odds go 2-0 at the start, and then Fusion against the pressure come back for one game. But Final 5 look like they're still having a good time. Shorter Ace, give it a kiss to his fans.
He's definitely earned himself some today. That is just some magnificent play. His whole team has gone well, but Fusion, definitely no slouches here. They have lived up to the hype, and they continue to do so. They've managed to snatch one back. Another hard-fought game. I don't think we're going to have an easy match today.
No, look at that. All smiles from Nian. He had a really good game that last game. Over 14 kills for himself. Very minimal in the death department around 3. But man, he's really just stepped up, because last game he was just getting pummeled by Prototype. This game, different story. They kept bringing the entire team into Prototype too. He had no wiggle room at all on that AD carry. He had to play it to perfection, and he wasn't quite there that game.
The shot calls were pretty spectacular too, and that was what
the
I
bot
think
lane
set it
gank
apart.
5-man?
Oh
God.
Yeah. It's been pretty awesome. Now, Prototype, obviously, he's the one that calls a lot of those shots. Of course, you say the same thing about Nian, but on Final 5, they've got a little bit more of a hybrid strategy there. This time, I think it paid off to have a single leader as we head into this picked band. No surprises. Vayne taken away again. You mentioned it's been burning them a bit, but they were able to take out a W anyways.
Yeah, the fact that they have to ban out the Vayne every time, they're just paying a lot of respect to Prototype White's champion pool. And Shorter Ace, you know, he's gotten Lee Sin every game, but that last game, he just wasn't getting the kills early. He was just getting the death column much and much higher, but he was being a facilitator of something. So now, the Janna off the field, and they might pick themselves a Nami pretty early on, or force the Nami pick in the first rotation to the first round of picks for Final 5.
This would be pretty big either way, because Final 5 support, Rule 18 hasn't really played anything but Janna and Nami in this tournament so far. And he has had some issues positioning-wise. It's obviously stepped up a lot this series, but if they start targeting down that bot lane, that might be a whole new weakness that's yet to be discovered on Final 5 side.
And they keep getting rid of the Warwick. I've seen Shorter Ace's Warwick about once, and I wasn't that impressed by it. But at the same time, they still want to take that off the field. The Gnar ban could be the last ban here, but at the same time, that's going to... Or they could leave up Gnar and Lissandra and make it so that you get one of them first round for Fusion, and then they take the other one and Nami in the second round. So that's exactly what they do. They leave it up. It's going to be the Gnar lock-in here for Fusion, but that leaves Lissandra as well as Nami up for Final 5, and that might just be them playing the red side better.
Yeah, they might try to do that. A lot of other potent weapons on the field, too. Again, the junglers haven't really been focused outside of Warwick for a while. Nintendo has shown he doesn't really want Lee Sin. Maybe continue that trend here. Shorter Ace might be able to pick that up to be the 4th time.
They haven't been prioritizing it, so Shorter Ace could go for a Lee Sin here. They could go Lee Sin Nami, but that does leave the Lissandra to be taken by Huhi. There's a lot of things here. Like, basically, Fusion want 2 picks, but Final 5 want 3 picks. So they only get 2 spots to do so. So whatever they leave up is going to be taken by Fusion in that first round. You can see them thinking long and hard about this.
Critical.
Somebody's going to have to give up a key champion, and you have to be a team player, but also understand that giving up that champion, what does it do for the other team, and how do you work around that? Like Shorter Ace, if he gives up the Lee Sin, what's he going to play instead? And if Nintendo takes it, how's that going to affect him? So
they do lock that in. Also, a
Nami.
Lulu. Wow, okay. So this may be the support Lulu. We've seen Lulu play a lot of places, but she hasn't really been seen as commonly. And speaking of not so much commonly, Yasuo being hovered right now for Huhi. It has been kind of a style of champion for him, but we haven't seen much Yasuo lately.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of support Lulu either. That's actually Rule 18's most played champion in the bot lane. But right off the bat, hiding picks here for Fusion, because if they go for... Yeah, they don't have to pick their support or their jungler, because they could take contested things instead, because Final 5 already locked in their 2. But instead, they're going to pick them up and just kind of hide as many cards as they can for as long as they can, which is strange.
Just a little bit, and Fusion has had these kind of awkward pick ban phases so far. Remember, we said before, they've really been a little uncomfortable with this patch. I think compared relative to the other teams, they've been a little less sure of themselves on it, and I think they're really trying to figure out what they really want to prioritize here, and that's been Final 5's advantage 2 games out of 3.
Yeah, they've really been getting those champion select advantages, like you were saying. They only need to win 3 games. They are still at match point here if they end up winning this. And they have a lot of options. They can still take the Lissandra if they feel comfortable playing that into Gnar. Gnar does do pretty dang well against it.
I like how it's a sort of, go ahead, we dare you, make our day. But
yeah,
a different strategy this time. Sport Lulu, you mentioned, has been something where the team plays in solo queue, but we haven't seen it very much really in this tournament at all. Oh, the Corki lock-in, as well as Jace. This is nice, and it's still a little bit of flex as well.
Yep. It's some poke with flexing, and at the same time, they do have the disengage from Lulu. Lulu and Lee Sin can help with the disengage, but it is a really hard engage composition here from Fusion so far.
Yeah, I really like what Final 5 have built for them, but they are, it's kind of like, again, either team is trying to not give away anything, but at this point you have to reveal what's left. Fusion, they go for Lucien again for Niantanso, and they also lock in the Kassadin, and of course this should be who he's championing. We've seen Kassadin go top, but obviously with the Gnar pickup it's not going to happen this time around. I like it from Huhi's perspective because it's a little bit different from what we've seen from, still kind of an assassin, but a little different variety. Yeah,
Huhi is going to have to figure out what he's going to do in this mid lane as Kassadin against possibly a Jace. Like, your Q is not going to do a whole lot for you, but you do have a lot of stickiness on that Jace and ways to avoid his poke. Yeah, and Huhi too, he's been... Or it could not be a mid Jace. That's true. Yeah. Huhi has been prioritized by Fusion. One of the reasons they picked him up, aside from just how well he seemed to mesh with the team, the fact that he has such a deep champion pool, he can supposedly play pretty much everything in the mid lane that's really needed. Kassadin falls into that, obviously. Oh! Okay, well, let's go to another point, because the Nidalee lock-in's a little bit interesting as well. I want to see where it goes. It looks like it's Rux. Could be Rux, could be Gate. They could send it mid. I mean, if we see Kassadin versus Nidalee in the mid lane, that'd be one heck of a throwback. So the reason he's throwing it top is because it can kind of deal with Gnar early on. You don't get completely destroyed by him. You can heal yourself, you can poke a tiny bit, you auto-attack, trade. And Jace against Kassadin is actually a pretty good matchup for, Jace. He does a pretty good job of just staying alive, poking and scaling up. So this team from Final 5 is pretty much all poke across the board with some disengage, some ways to escape. Whereas Fusion has gone with his team that's very sticky, that likes to get to you and stay on you. Yeah, I'll have to see how those fights do go out, because I feel like it's going to be one of those things where if they don't get away in time, it's going to be really, really rough for Final 5 to make those disengages. Yes, they have things to keep them alive, but isolated, any one of these champions could be in trouble. Yeah, and I like the fact that they banned the Janna very early on so they could make it so that their stickiness is even stickier and can't be disengaged as easily. Yeah, it was kind of a forethought-out thing, and they did a good job of trying to reveal, or not reveal it to Final 5, but they don't seem too worried. Those guys, again, they're all smiles. Serious faces here for Fusion going again. Shortoris isn't just like sending hand hearts, he's doing like a body heart. It's like, love you with every inch of my body. Everyone out there. I don't even know who he's doing it to. It's probably you, fans. You're like everyone. Right in his line of sight. Am I? Oh. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll take it, but we want to know what you guys think. We want to know if you guys are liking Shorter Race. Go ahead and tweet us at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS Expansion and let us know who you think is going to take the series. But this is going to be an explosive finale if it does get down to it. I don't know if this is the finale or the next game. That's why you don't look away, because every moment could be a deciding factor in this game. We've seen bloody games. We've seen games that have gotten a little bit dragged out in the early part, and it's been like, who's going to make that first move? Who's going to run away with it? It's so hard to call, and Final 5, they've been executing incredibly well, but again, this is a very punishing team from Fusion. If they do get stuck to, there is no way to peel them off, and Final 5 could very well lose all their members really easily. Now, the laning phase is definitely going to go over to Final 5 a little bit easier just because of the champion matchups in particular. Prototype, he hasn't played too much Corki in this tournament. Obviously, he knows how to play it, and it's a very strong champion on this patch, but Niantanso, he's been a consistent rock. Up in the top lane, Rux and Macnoon have traded pretty well evenly, but Huhi might have a bit of trouble at this levels 1 through 5. Yeah, I'm a little concerned that Prototype is on that Corki, because he's a Vayne, Jinx, Caitlyn player. And he took heal this time. And he took heal. Prototype. That never happens. Prototype's having an identity crisis. Like, that literally almost never happens. I want to ask him, like, what's the condition that he takes heal? I asked him why he takes Exhaust. He just thinks it's a better summoner spell. But now he doesn't really see the need to take Exhaust, I assume. And he just wants the mobility and like the movement speed on 2 members for this poke composition to possibly just disengage and back up. I think that's probably the route that he's going with it. But well, they're playing a different strategy this time for sure. Final 5, somebody's in that seat instead of Prototype. Oh. Who is that?
Looks like him to me.
Oh, yeah, it's him. Never mind.
It's still,
He's been possessed.
It's still really strange, to be honest, though. Like Final 5, I mean, they did so well in those first 2 games, sticking to their guns, and this time they're trying something a little bit different. Obviously, that 3rd game, they also tried the same thing. But Ward, speaking of something, shenanigans, it's going to get spotted.
Man, Shorter Ace just can't catch a break in these early games, in these last 2. Fusion have been sticking to their guns and being able to lane swap appropriately on it.
Yeah, Shorter Ace hasn't been able to really do those Krugs too much. He's been called upon by his team every single time to make something early happen. He's pretty strong Lee Sin, considering the perception that Lee Sin has not been too consistently strong on this patch. I mean, Nintendo's obviously not prioritized
He's still like a top-tier pick, but there are like 2 champions that are higher than him, 2, 3, that most people would consider. But when you're a Lee Sin main, you're a Lee Sin main.
It doesn't really change from patch to patch now.
Even when Lee Sin isn't in the meta, people are like, I'm still gonna play Lee Sin.
Never a wrong time.
Nope.
Shorter Ace is going to be taking that red, swaps down, they are trading those buffs away. Next he's going to bring Rule 18 here to try and pick off those Raptors, because MacNoon and Nintendo are doing the same thing to him. So do a little bit of a jungle switcheroo. Also the lane swap, we didn't talk too much about it, but again, Nian and Glebe Glarbu.
Looking for the level 2.
Oh boy. Gate. He's far forward. He doesn't think he was expecting that one. Instantly burning his flash, and he moves right on out with the acceleration gate as well. Oh my goodness, MacNoon!
Oh!
That was quick. First blood going over, and that was just quite unexpected.
Yeah, and that EQ from Nintendo actually didn't make contact, and then we saw it off on the side that MacNoon going a little too far forward. He's going to have to blow his TP, goes down bottom, but he catches this minion wave full of experience.
Yeah, this is really Final 5 taking it to the start, but that Dragon very, very early here. They're trying their best to juggle the aggro. They might actually be able to pull this one off, but it's still pretty tough, and they're not giving up anything else for it, though, so it's a nice move.
Yep, that's a great capitalization there. MacNoon is left to just farm that wave down bottom. It's not worth it if he ends up leaving that bottom lane and just missing out all that experience. So the first Dragon going over to Final 5, which has been pretty consistent from them in this series.
Yeah, now Prototype and Rule 18 should be able to bully out the little Yordle, but he did play pretty strong the last time on that. And I don't know, he's getting some help from Glebe here, because obviously Nian doesn't really need too much, but I don't know, that's a pretty dangerous champion to leave Nian Tanso alone with.
Seeing Rux in the top lane. 3 CS to the 11 of MacNoon. He caught himself a really nice wave on the back. And Fusion, they might assume that their key to victory is just to lane swap and to actually just perform well in these. Because there's one of those questions like, what do you get off the lane swap? And right now, it's just a level advantage for MacNoon, even though he died, and a CS advantage too. So he's in a good spot.
Well, they gave up the Dragon, but they were getting a little bit back for this one, and maybe they can try to press that edge, because Glebe's hanging out in this brush. Those Nintendo dude trying to bait this out. But Prototype, again, he's on a very mobile carry. This might work a little bit better if he was playing somebody like Jinx, but it's not happening right yet. They are going to try and force the checkup, and here we go. Glebe revealing himself. Can he get the bubble off? He's not going to be able to land it. He'll have to back away. Shorter Ace is there as well.
Just the pressure of Nintendo there is actually really good for MacNoon, because right there you saw Rule 18 and Prototype having to just sit around and not zone, because when you're in a lane swap, you want to zone off the top laner, and they weren't able to do it because of the fact that there was the jungler there, and they saw that pressure Rux going in.
Yeah, it is dangerous, but he didn't have the cooldowns there, and he does take a parting shot. If he can land a spear, oh, it would be old Nidalee all over again.
Nope.
Nian's fine, though.
Yeah, he's not that fine. He has to back in a one-on-one lane as the AD carry, which is something you don't want to have to do in a lane swap.
It's true, but he does have a massive CS differential. I mean, obviously can't really compare the AD carry to the top laner, but yeah. Even so, MacNoon has a better CS than Rux. Rux is just, he's kind of fallen on some hard luck here, and now MacNoon trying to catch out Rule 18. Oh, the bubble. Rule 18 flashed forward this time. Prototype trying to burn him down. He can Falcon in, and he will. Prototype taking that kill, and Glebe Glarbu nearly aided as well.
Yeah, there's no flash on MacNoon because he used it previously when he ended up dying. At the same time, though, look at this. We're going to have Nian Tanso come back down to this bottom lane. He does have a pickaxe. But Prototype, he's going to back, and he's going to actually be able to buy his BS sword.
Oh, wait a minute. Rule 18.
Too
he
far
got
forward.
caught just a little bit again this time. Yeah, feeling a little supremely confident, a little unearned there as Nian tries to punish Prototype even more. He's going for it. He might go all in. Oh, the double tap wasn't enough to finish him off, and Glebe eats that shot. Speaking of greed, just a little bit more there.
Yeah, Shorter Ace is actually over on that left side of mid, so he can't capitalize on this bottom just poke out. Prototype finally hitting 6.
It's the best way to put it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else resets a little bit back to normal, but this game has started off pretty wonky. Shorter Ace coming
Ooh, they're going
around
for
the top.
gank.
So is Gate. They're looking to punish McNoon. He's been there before, though. Ruggs taking quite a lot of damage. Shorter Ace going to safeguard him out. The spear, they connect at least one of those skill shots, but McNoon is wise to their tricks, and Gate's backing away. They've wasted some time here.
And he's also clearing this wave out as fast as he can using the culling. He wants to back. That's going to be a little bit of a wave for Prototype, but at the same time, Final 5 have been wasting time in this top lane and haven't been accomplishing a whole lot. The pressure on McNoon, he's basically just shrugged it off.
That's kind of what he does. In the enemy set, yeah, he took a lot of early deaths, but he was able to still get up to a fantastic form, and now
Looking for Huhi. He's very slippery, though.
Yep. He's got 6. He does have the Rift Walk available, and Glebe is there to help defend as well. Shorter Ace actually is just going to bail on out. Some fancy footwork there. I think you only see those in movies.
Yeah, that looked like he was on some of those strings that they have in
Wire.
those old
Shorter Ace cheating. Well, he's just landing one of those. Ooh, a big shock blast is going to connect on Nintendo to reveal him there. Huhi trying to go around for the collapse, but they don't quite have the damage. Maybe they do now. McNoon joining the party, and Gate now. Shorter Ace kicking out Glebe Glarber. They do land quite a lot of damage. The Phosphorus Bomb, Glebe is low. Not enough. He flashes away, though, and Nintendo intercepting the big rocket is able to keep his support alive.
And McNoon actually trekked his way all the way to this mid lane. Rux, meanwhile, sitting in that top lane still.
That gives that advantage back in CS, and now McNoon, he has to teleport back to this one, so he spent so much for so little. Dragon's up in a minute and a half. That may not have been the most timely teleport.
And he's going to have to trek his way back down to that bot lane again. And Gnar is a much more potent team fighter than Nidalee is. Nidalee's all about the dueling. Prototype.
He's by himself here. Oh, but he was looking tasty the whole time.
Oh,
Glebe's going to take a big shot. That it was. The heal is coming out. They're just trying to use the movement speed to get away. Nice splitting the uprights here. They may be finding a little bit more back in. That was a bold move, though, to check 2v3. Glebe takes a little bit of damage. Nian is perfectly fine, but still, this is a tense moment for the spot lane on Fusion.
Yeah, Prototype has no mana, no HP. He's going to have to back off of this. At the same time, though, Huhi.
Ooh. Huhi Kassadin, that's who.
Yeah. Huhi Kassadin. Guess that answers the question.
Indeed it does. Now, even on the board on CS here, it's going to be a while before Gate starts to ramp up on that Jace. He's got the tier. He doesn't have any armor pen just yet. All the same, Huhi doesn't have much except the Crystalline Flask, looking to build himself up as well. A lot of damage in this bottom side with Nian and Glebe Glarber pushing it up.
Yeah, Gate loves this champion. It's one of the reasons that his name is Gate. Hopefully he can accelerate into the late game. He loves this champion and Twisted Fate. Looking on the side. He doesn't have enough mana for a combo just yet.
Yeah, but Nintendo, he's waiting in the wings. Shorter Ace might have baited himself into a trap. They're zoning him out there. The tower's not done yet. They finally will take it, but here comes Rule 18. Glebe Glarber, he's low, he's down. They trade for Shorter Ace. They're looking for more of the mid. By the way, there was a kill going on there, and it ended up being the Gate getting the head of that one in the end. He might go down. Prototype, oh my goodness, the double kill. Outpicks, not enough. Rule 18 trying to chase down Nian, but there's Nintendo just poking him in the back of the head with the spear, and he might fancy chase. Nintendo's down. Minions are there. Oh, the polymorph. Neon Toxo. He gets it, and that is going to be another pickup for the AD carry of Fusion.
Now, if Prototype had exhaust there, that might have been a little different.
I think he might go back to his old ways after this game.
Yeah, I'm liking that summoner spell now.
Let's take a look at what happened in that one.
Watch this. He goes straight through. Shorter Ace. They kill the turret before that last turret shot makes contact, and they trade jungler for support. He goes straight in onto Nian. Boom. Kept away, has to flash, isn't eating as much damage as he could have. But look at that. An exhaust would have been perfect there, even if Rule 18 had an exhaust.
He gets the unofficial triple after the fact, too, but I mean, Rule 18 really does a nice cleanup effort here. He does take down Nintendo at the very least, so they trade back a little bit. Meanwhile, in the mid, as all that was happening, Gate took down Huhi in the solo. Oh, okay, we're back to this one. Shorter Ace, and he's gone. That Null Sphere or Force Pulse, one of the two, both of them were contributing to taking down Shorter Ace again.
Yeah, that's going to be the Dragon being started up here. They saw that Jarvan was top. There's really almost no risk here.
They sacrifice every time. I almost could think that was deliberate by Shorter Ace, as they're able to pick this one up, and there's no response.
Come kill me. Oh, Dragon. Oh, Boomerang.
Oh! That was close.
Oh, my God. Could be a heart attack there.
Yeah. We've seen it happen before. McNoon with the timing, but it just wasn't quite enough. So Final 5 do take that second drag.
That looked like it stole it, too.
It looked like it did, but then it was like, oh, red.
Beautiful. Oh, that's the risk, though.
Missed it by that
I said there wasn't much risk, but then I kept looking at it, and I'm like, it's getting pretty close. Wards and throws the Boomerang.
And at least it came back.
Yeah.
Boomerang always comes back.
Question is, does Final 5 come back from this deficit
Oh, man. Apparently when you're a squirrel, you don't have any stats. They will take down the tower up in the top. It's going to be Huhi still trying to defend here. Final 5, they really started to put the pedal to the metal, even though they're a bit down in gold and down 2 towers. They've started to take the offensive, and 2 dragon buffs are going to mean they can start pounding away at those turrets a bit more.
Yeah, I need to get some blues being spread out on this Final 5 side, because Prototype's always out of mana, Gate's always out of mana, and they're constantly pressing. Gate has that blue, and that's why he's able to continue this siege. And look at this off on the side. Rugs.
They might find him though. Ooh, Prototype, a very timely one. He has to pop the heal. The acceleration gate gonna help him get out of there. Ruck's gonna bail out as well. But look at that one small misstep, and Fusion will punish you very nearly every time.
Yeah, Maknoon's going for more of a damage build now on this Gnar as opposed to what he's going for with the tank build last time with the Randuins. So now he actually hurts a lot, and you have to respect that.
Same thing can be said of Shorter Ace. He's got himself a Brutalizer to try and beat down this team, so it really is going to be an all-out slugfest. We don't quite have a kill a minute this game, but at 5 and 5, it's still a very close back and forth.
If you count dragons as
well.
Oh.
I mean, should you?
Dragons are not, they're not people too, but...
Unless they're Shyvana.
They're things that you kill. Yeah. Back-lady.
Gate. He can't defend this one solo. He can send a big shock blast. That was actually a really well-placed one as it clears away most of the minions, but Nintendo, Nian, Tanso, Glebe, and Huhi are all still trying to take shots at this one. Again, it's been so back and forth that they've been really close every time. Maknoon going to play the split push game up in top right now, but it's just been masterful to see these two guys just try and capitalize on each other's positions.
Yeah, both teleports up for the top laners. Everybody comes mid. Clears out these waves, making sure they can't get any turrets off of it.
Ooh, Shock Blast starting to hurt.
Nice Shock Blast back. Prototype's going to answer in the top lane, and I like that positioning, but they really play around the dragons here. I realize that Final 5 take their team fights, they take their objectives around dragon timers, and don't really fight in between unless Fusion forces it. And then Fusion will win that fight. It's like, okay, you got us, but we get a dragon next time. So
a very objective mindset from Final 5, and Fusion, they have been more kill heavy, but you can see the adaptation they've had in the last game. Whoa, Huhi taking a lot of damage. Big one going to come and hit him and Niantan, so this tower is down.
That's an AP Nidalee.
Yep. Been a little while, hasn't it?
It's back to the poke.
It is.
It's back to the days of yore. Of old.
It still hurts. And also, you can dive in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now they realize it's an AP Nidalee too.
Well, Magic Resist is a little bit hard to come by on this map. Megatron cloaks AFK for a while.
Yeah, that's true. You got to pay 500 for the Null Magic Mantle, and not a lot of people are willing to fork up the cash.
That Gate is going to go a little bit far forward there, has to move himself back, but again, everybody on this Final 5 side is starting to hurt, and they've closed that gold gap a decent bit with 2 dragons to 0 in this game as well. Fusion is thinking a little bit hard about where they want to try and take their fights.
10 dude clearing out his red. I'm just looking at the items coming out here. We do see a Brutalizer on Shorter Ace, so he's actually going for the Warrior Enchant like always. Gonna see Nintendo, he's looking at both at the same time. That was probably a Sight Stone and the Warrior Enchant. But the early Moby Boots with Home Guard is what's surprising to me.
Yeah, he really wants to be as everywhere around the map as he can. In all of our previous games that Shorter Ace has played Lee Sin, which, hey, have all been all of them, he's managed to get around so mobile that it's making Nintendo look bad, so of course he has to go for the early Mobies.
Nintendo had a really good game on Elise in terms of his early game pressure. His Jarvan play has kind of been like, why do we have Jarvan and Janna at the same time? And like all these different things that end up happening. And sometimes he goes in and his Cataclysm isn't up. Like, keeping a better management of that is going to be something that he has to evaluate before fights.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So again, going back to the Dragons, the way that Final 5 has been playing this out, that they want those buffs before they really do anything else, it makes them a little bit predictive, but it's troubling for Fusion that knowing that exactly where your opponent wants to get aggressive, they still can't stop it.
Yeah. There's a ton of poke here, though, from Final 5, and it's around that time of the game where a poke composition comes online and wants to group. They have those 1 item points, 1.5 items.
To touch on that, too, the Caitlyn pickup would have made a lot of sense here, but also, the Corki seems to be pretty safe. Now, Gate is caught up. Speaking of safe, maybe not. Shorter Ace tries to get the kickback. Oh, he's going to bail out, though, and they're staying alive. Rule 18 caught up in the Cataclysm. They're getting the teleport, and Rule 18 staying alive. Wild Growth on himself. And now they've evened the score just a little bit more. 45 seconds on this drag, and the attempt to take him down is foiled.
Yeah, this is a 100% poke-focused composition here. The disengage comes out, and yeah, the Corki over the Caitlyn does actually make a lot of sense because the range is just longer, the cooldown is shorter.
It's not just poke, it's consistent poke.
Yes. It's the whittling down. Like, I'm like, oh, I can play, like, something with a long-range ability, like Rek'Sai, which is a 1500 Q, but, like, I'm just saying, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. You need the damage, you need the low cooldown.
You also need the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, you do.
He's a summoner's best friend.
Scuttle Crab control has been something that Final 5 have just been kind of, like, utilizing a whole bunch.
I think they've gotten almost every one of them now.
Every one of them, especially before Dragon. They keep that timer really well. And it's another one of those things you have to adapt to on 4.20. As a team, when do you get the Scuttle Crab? How early do you get it? And do you get it, like, before you back? Do you get it, like, as you're doing it? Do you get it a minute before, 45 seconds? And I feel like Final 5 has figured out that little groove of when they need to take it just to apply pressure.
Yeah, now they are a little bit back here to give this tower up, and you can see Huhi and Macnoon doing a great job at zoning them away from this one. They've established a little bit more map control, not just with that move, but in the way they swung their positioning. But Final 5, they're looking to take some. As long as they have vision, they're perfectly happy, and actually they're calling a bluff, shooting their way down the mid lane. This could be a problem for Fusion, but if they collapse, that could be also very big.
Macnoon doesn't really have the resource to turn into Mega Gnar just yet.
Those shock blasts.
He's just poking off on the side.
Poked on. Yeah, Gate. Guy is just so good on this champion. Whoa, okay. Huhi going a little far forward. Prototype might be caught, though, has to spend his Valk. Neither team really looking in a great position right now. Oh, maybe they are. Here we go. The Lee Syndrome, though. They didn't have the damage. That's not the first time we've seen it. And that's going to be Shorter Ace going down. The Big Gnar from Macnoon. Maybe they can pick this one off. Rux trying to jump his way out the pit. They're going to find Prototype. They clean up 3-4-1, and they're still on the hunt. Can Nidalee get away from this one? It looks like it's a catch the Tiger.
And he's got a bull there, but Cougar's running away pretty quickly. Gate had nothing to do with that fight. He's going to execute himself.
Lasers. They gave up that dragon, though, and that was crucial for Fusion. Now Gate, oh, he checks into Nien Tanso, and this will be a duel, but it's a 2v1. Nope. He didn't realize it.
That's not a duel.
It looks like a duel.
Up on.
Yeah. We'll take a look at this dragon again and see how that all went down and how Fusion came out top.
He just took that when he saw the bait. Flash away, heal, throw the wave out. Decimated off the back of that, and then the jump in with the Gnar. Really well played there by Macnoon on the follow-up. They do end up getting Cleave in the end, but it wasn't worth it. Gate, he just ran off to his blue. Fight started when he was there. He's like, I'm done with this fight. There's nothing to say about it.
All you could say about that, Macnoon with the Gnar, that was, I mean, they were already in a lot of trouble, but that was a big tipping point. Final 5 falling over on that one, and that gives Fusion some serious confidence going forward, as well as that dragon.
Yeah, it's a really big part there too, because that's the first dragon of the game for Fusion, and they stopped the third one from falling into the hands of Final 5. And that would have been their third dragon at 20 minutes, which is really big.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to give that one up. It'd be really hard to catch them as is. Now, speaking of catching, Rux, though, he could be in some trouble from Nintendo and Huhi. He's going to turn around, try to make a little bit something out of it, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Huhi, the 1-2 punch, and they managed to take down the Cougar.
You got to be able to capitalize off of things like that. Try to dodge the culling. Got to use the acceleration gate to get out of there.
When they've been in isolation, Fusion really has been showing up pretty big. And again, that numbers disadvantage was what sunk Final 5 in that fight. Shorter Ace goes in the Lee Syndrome, and they use his over-aggression against him.
This game, it's still anybody's game. Early on, 20 minutes, this middle turret already down. Pushing up, though, and having the split push from Huhi every single game. Fusion split push with Huhi.
It's great to see the progression of strategy, because when we started this one out, all those fights, they looked so chaotic, they were so free-for-all and crazy, and we just couldn't tell what was going to happen. And Final 5 just emerging out of that chaos, victorious 2 games in a row. But then Fusion answered back. Now we're in Game 4. They're sieging down the towers. They're just looking so much crisper going forward.
This turret is going to go down here.
Teleport,
and they're
though.
Trying to engage. A little late, though.
Yeah, it is a little bit late. Macnoon's going to knock Gate against the wall and hop right on over, hop on top the Gromp, and they'll be able to try and get away from this one. Huhi coming to join in case they need to take a fight. Glebe dodging the spears, and if they just dodge the skill shots, they don't have to worry about fighting, but maybe they bait him into a trap. Shorter Ace taking a Null Sphere and a Force Pulse. Force Pulse?
Force Pulse?
That's not a thing.
They get the disengage. They push them off. Going for this turret now. This team actually does take turrets fairly quickly with Jason Corky, and then they have the extra attack speed from Nidalee. so they're going to get it very, very easily. But Huhi's been pushing middle this entire time. And once again, Final Five are just going with the group up push and trying to answer Fusion's push with Huhi by doing so.
Yeah, having Kassadin try to do that split is working out pretty well for them, and there's really no one here able to defend, but the tower shield is really helping out. Now they were afraid of getting collapsed on. They have to back away from this one because here comes Huhi. They shoot a Glitter Lance at Nintendo. Huhi actually has to move away himself, eats a Shock Blast on the outside of that one, and they burst themselves out of the trap.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt that much, though, because he's got himself the little arm guard there. Seekers.
A little extra armor keeping him alive. Yeah, blue buff's going to go down here, Gate. Should pick that one up. He knocks it away.
No contest. Oh, Rux is caught.
Oh, boy, as he was trying to get back to defend his tower. He's a little bit low. The knock-up, they're going to get Huhi, maybe. Here we go. Prototype White going in, but he's actually going to have to get back because the teleport's coming in for Magnoon and Tendude, burning away, but it's going to be Prototype going down as the first casualty, and now Fusion is running wild in the jungle. They've got Rule 18 slowed down. He can't go anywhere, and he just gets picked off. Nien Tanso coming up with the big damage.
I feel like Final Five went too hard on the poke composition, and it doesn't seem to be their style of play. Right now, you can see they went a little too hard on it too, with that many members that can poke.
Oh, Gate getting away. Yeah, it really seems when they do get caught, it rains, it pours. They're just not able to do much here, and we'll take a look at, again, how this happened.
Yeah, Rux, being an AP Nidalee, is extremely squishy, extremely easy to catch out. They try to turn it around, but Prototype dives in. We see Nintendo just locking them up, flashes, and the scatter comes out.
They try their hardest to keep on going, but wait a minute. Fusion.
So hard to engage. Final Five has no engage either. Since it's a poke composition, they're all about disengaging or poking people off of objectives, but they haven't been able to get too much from using that strategy. And right now they're relying on engages, but now it's not happening. They have to just kind of poke them off these objectives and just go for it.
They're clearly not as comfortable with this style of play, and that's been hurting them. And speaking of hurting, whoa, Nien Tanso going a little bit low. Now they've caught Gate up on a bubble, no follow-up. Meganar is out, though, and there's no more wave for Final Five to rely on, as they just have to settle for a little bit more damage on the champions in the tower.
This is the situation you want to be in as a poke composition. You want to have the sweepers on the sides, the pokes coming from awkward angles, landing them and getting yourself a turret without a fight happening.
Oh, that was not the right timing for Magnoon, and Shorter Ace should be able to take him down. He will. The tower's still hurting just about everybody, though. Shorter Ace going down finally. Glebe Glarbu will get the credit. The bubble's going to land. Rule 18 trapped in the pit. Nintendo bailing out of that one. They hit a 1-for-1 so far, but they're still going more, and that's Gate going down. Nien Tanso with a godlike kill. 7-0, a double. Can he get some more? Oh my goodness. Oh baby, it looks like a triple, but it gets taken away by Huhi.
And that's going to be the turret not even falling into the hands of Final Five, and Fusion now have a lot of options open to them. They have this minion wave they pushed all the way up, and now they're going to get this turret.
Yep, that one is poked down. It really didn't take much more. Nien is starting to ramp up insane levels, 8-0-5 on this Lucian, and it's the perfect power spike for him right now. Huhi looking to move around the side as well. Dragon is live. They're not going to take any more unnecessary presses, but it looks like this will be a Dragon for Fusion.
Fusion picking up their second Dragon of the game. Nobody really around to contest this from Final Five side. And it's pretty much been the story of this series, is Fusion gets up by a good amount of gold, a good chunk of gold, but then they just can't close the game out. But they don't always seem like they're ahead. And then eventually something happens and Final Five crumbles. Like, it's weird because Final Five, I don't think they're always as behind as they actually are in terms of gold. Like, they don't play like they're behind. And Fusion doesn't play like they're that far ahead either.
Yeah, it has been a strange dichotomy, and the way that both teams have played it out, obviously we've seen Final Five really focusing a lot of effort on the Dragon and eventually on the towers. Fusion just trying to take the fight to them. And it's kind of funny how it works out, because Fusion, they take the fight, then they get the Dragon.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. We do have some spikes coming out here. We had the Muramana for Gate. He's close to that last Whisper. But speaking of Gate, he's up top in this bush. Huhi is hunted. He smells him. He smells him through the mask.
Yeah, but Gate might
doesn't check the bush.
Oh boy. He's got in the end there too.
Rux is coming up though. He thinks it's all clear. He thinks it's all clear. Oh.
He is so patient right now.
Oh.
Nien, Nien.
Oh.
Don't do it, Nien.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Now he knows, and that's hammer time. It's going to be Gate going in. Nien Tanso shut down. And there goes your perfect game.
Wow. 8-1-5. They got the most fed member on Fusion down. That's going to be a turret here in just a moment as soon as this mini wave gets here, because the wave clear is actually pretty minimal. You have to have the cast in with the charges, and it's the poke. It's the composition that wants to poke you down.
Now they're able to really take charge on that one, and with Nien out of the way, it's so difficult to stop this siege, and the amount of poke that does come out of Final 5 should be able to polish off. Not another tower right away. They're defending pretty well on this one, but if they start building up waves, they can prolong this.
Macnoon hopefully doesn't have another almost Gnar like he did last time. That was pretty awkward.
It was an anti-Gnar.
You jump in, you're like, oh, mini Gnar.
You got to control those. It's been pretty good on those individual plays, like massively today, but you know, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, but a lot of people are having pretty immaculate games here. 0-1 and 15 from Nintendo. A lot of pressure in this game. He's been involved in every kill except for one for his team.
Yeah, the kill participation's been pretty crazy across the board, and yeah, Nintendo really has stepped up this time. His Cataclysms have been much more on point. Again, talking about how crisp Fusion has looked so far, and they have had trouble capitalizing on some of these leads in the gold, but they're starting to adapt to that. They're starting to change it. Yes, they've given up a little bit, but they've been little edges, which is kind of the opposite of what we saw in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it crisp, because, oh man, throwing 10k gold lead, 5 dragons, things like that, is really just really questionable play.
In those first couple games?
Yeah, in the first couple games.
No, that didn't look very good.
They've had really bad just leads that they've been like squandering. And then this game, I don't know if it's going to be more of the same or what's going to happen. They're playing it a little safe, looking for this, but at the same time, Prototype clearing out that bottom wave.
Very patient.
Rule 18. Is he doing it again?
No.
He's hitting the stop button.
The senses are tingling. He's going to zoom up.
Oh, yeah. He got him. He got him. He saw him.
Not this time, boys.
Wait, I don't know where they are.
Could be anywhere.
Got him. Well, he found him, though, so luckily...
Without dying.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man, that's a huge accomplishment.
So Rux and him are going to be trying to clear up this mid. Again, it's been touch and go for a little while, but now that the game's settling down a little bit, Fusion is trying to look for where they can push in mass, where they can win a fight and take a big edge off. The top lane or mid looks attractive if they want to try for Baron in the next few minutes. Still a bit touchy just because of how even the game really is. But Final 5, again, all has been focusing on this dragon without it to do for the next 2 minutes. They're kind of lost and just trying to grab a little bit of vision back in their own jungle. They have been doing a good job up so far clearing it out, but they missed that pink ward. Come on, go check it.
Nope. At the same time, though, we see the Last Whisper, the Brutalizer, the boots coming out here. Jace is about at his damage thresholds right now. He'll get something like a Bloodthirster, and then he'll be all good. But right now, his really big spice.
Oh, they find Glaive. What was he doing by himself? He gets kicked away, but Shorter Ace should be able to polish him off. He's just spent everything to escape, and a very large Lee Sin comes and kicks him in the head.
Rux going to take it. There's a Zhonya's
on Hui. Rux has a lot of damage here. Hui's going to try and dodge away. He joins Nintendo Dex. Shorter Ace looking for round 2. Oh, he burns his flash. And meanwhile, in the mid, Nien Tanso trying to grab himself a turret off the back of that one. There's a large mini wave. Oh, the turret does go down. Oh my goodness, they shut down Prototype Nien all alone here as Gate finally joins it. Macnoon trying to take himself that inhibitor. Meanwhile, up in the top, they've still got the mini wave to contend with. What happened to Final 5 here?
Not a good trade for them at all. Up top, they were trying to catch Kassadin. They didn't leave him to his own devices. Instead, they kept chasing him. And it's really hard to chase Kassadin, really hard to shut him down. Prototype sacrificed himself to Nintendo.
Yeah, and Nien and Tanso, really good presence of mind to just shove up the middle.
And he's back.
And those minions take out the tower. It's crazy. Oh, Shorter Ace, what are you doing on that side of the map, buddy? He's trying to go for the turret, trying to knock it down before he goes, but he can't get it. That shield is too strong. Nintendo Dex will poke him with his spear.
Not able to bust through that shield. Iron Solari shield on that turret. Very, very desperate move there from him, trying to get something off his death. Prototype, though, finally back up, grabbing himself his red. And he cannot make another play like that.
They lost a lot of towers and all of that. The inhibitor in the middle, the inhibitor turret, the minion wave just eventually shoved in Final 5's second tier top. And they've only got that bottom remaining for everything outside their base. And that's starting to get into the danger zone. Fusion's been up by this much before and they have squandered it, but they're not keen on letting that slip through their fingers this time. They will grab themselves a third dragon, and now they have that movement speed boost.
Yeah, they have that extra edge now. First 2 dragons falling to Final 5, and then the next 3 falling to Fusion. Who knows? That might even be the way the series ends up.
have to see going forward. It has been Fusion's hope so far, although Final 5 still have a lot of fight left in them. They're in that brush. Not exactly a secret. Glebe is getting kind of dangerous. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be if they did want to take it. They were rushing playing dangerously now. Fusion on the wrong side of the map, but there's not a whole lot to hit him there. Now Macnoon is splitting. He's got his teleport available should he need to take this fight. They're a little bit trapped, but there's really no danger here. There's no tower, so they're going to try to turn it around. Nien Tanso hitting Prototype. Here comes the teleport in. Macnoon, they want to take this fight. Prototype, what's he doing by himself? He's going to leap away. He's not going to be able to get away. Even with the wild growth, they take down 1 for none. Immediately shift their attention to this bottom side with the minion wave. They've got the chance to take out 2 inhibitors here.
2 little misplays from Prototype back to back, and the game is burst wide open by Fusion now. Macnoon looking for a Gnar.
They are looking for one, but they can just threaten it right now. The inhibitor is down. They have this massive advantage right now, and they can just back away for free. They might even start looking for the Baron in the next couple minutes, but they're just looking for kills.
Just setting up for another pick. Playing it slow, controlled, exploiting their lead. They could just go back to this wave again if they wanted to. But they're spotted. Yep, Jigsaw.
They're able to get out, though. That's all right. Big wave on the top to contend with. They should be able to shove it out, though. But with those 2 inhibitors taken down and a little bit of time still on them, remember, they do have a longer timer now than they used to. They went back to the way they used to be. Yeah, Final 5's already anticipating this Baron. They're going to start beelining it over there. Oh, they're going to do it.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody backed to have the damage to do this, though.
This is so sneaky from Final 5. The timing,
though.
He is, but if they can zone him off, Rule 18 doing his best to try and keep
really
him away from it.
though.
It's so low.
He's so
if he can
close.
get in there, oh, it's going to be a smite fight, but it's not going to go to either of them. It's going to Prototype at the end of the day, and he gets out. Gate gets out. Can Prototype escape? I don't know, though. He might actually give himself up. They take a turret with the minions on the top. They've given up 1. If they give up more, that's going to be Nien Tanso who gets that kill credit. They're looking for Rule 18. If they get out with 3 members, it might still not be the worst thing, but shorter race, he's caught. He's down. Who he going? Godlike. They get 3 for none, and that Baron only goes to 2 members, Gate and Rux.
And the fact that they were able to get there so quickly to counter the Baron, 3 of those members for Baron, it's not worth just yet because they're going to lose even more.
Yeah, it's looking like that right now with a little bit of a mini wave, a couple of supers on this one. They're starting to fire down the Nexus turrets, and it's really only Gate and Rux here to defend this. I don't think they can really hold the line. Did Fusion really just come back? Are we going to Game 5? It certainly looks like it.
They've evened it up 2-2.
And there it goes, yeah. Smiles a little bit more now. They're starting to loosen up. They've brought it all the way back to game point for both teams. There's a little high five all around. Well played by Fusion, taking the control game to its logical conclusion.
And they deserve that too because they played that game really well. Huhi stepping up on that Kassadin, but also we see Nien Tanso having very consistent performance now on his 80 carries. Really like the fact they were able to close the game out a lot earlier. But the thing is that they got it off of 2 mistakes by Prototype.
Again, they've been waiting for those kind of slip-ups to happen, and this time Final 5 play a little less conventional strategy than what they're used to doing. They put Prototype on a champion and with summoner spells that he's not nearly as familiar or comfortable with, and this time it just didn't work out for him. I would expect maybe he goes back to the exhaust Jinx or Caitlyn again.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there. I would love to ask him what was going through his head with the Corki and the heal, because that's not his style, and you really need to play to your style, especially when you're under pressure too, and this team is coming back, because now next game decides who moves on to that next round and gets that much closer to an LCS berth.
Absolutely. It's going to be a pretty explosive finale. I know, I've been thinking about it, I've been teasing it. I'm really happy it's gone to a 2-2, though, because at this point, anybody can take it. It's still really, really close. Every game has been. That was probably the more one-sided match that we've seen so far. But again, it's not all over here. You drop down into a double elimination bracket. You keep going forward. But you want that first win. You want to feel confident. And after winning 2 games up, Final 5 now on the brink of dropping down once again. And Fusion, they've got to be on the upswing here. We'll see what happens as it all plays out. We got one more game, but you know what? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to give all the players and, of course, ourselves a quick cooling off. So, guys, we will be right back. We'll see you in just a few.